Nanci Danison explica cómo en esa dimensión ella era capaz de vivir las experiencias de estos seres como experiencias de vida propia y viceversa, efectuando un proceso multidimensional propio del espíritu. Lo que Nanci vivió en esa dimensión es algo muy personal, queriendo decir con esto que no todos tenemos la misma experiencia al abandonar el traje, ya que ello depende de muchos factores que conciernen a la conciencia individual.
The next thing that kind of comes into my mind was, my beings of light friends can enter into my life. And then I realized I could enter into theirs. And I stopped being a being. I stopped having any kind of discrete beingness about me. And I entered into a pure consciousness. I just existed in a state of pure consciousness. And I merged into my being of light friends one at a time. I lived their lives. I would enter into one of their lives and watch it as an observer, participate in it as myself, participated in it as them, inside their body, feeling their emotions, knowing it was their life and not mine, but still feeling at the same time that it was absolutely real and that I was really experiencing it. And I could enter into 2 or 3 or 4 or all 5 of them at the same time and feel what it was like to be one collective being with multiple personalities. I could sense my own individuality in the 6 while at the same time feeling that I was one being of 6. I could feel myself being one of them within the 6 while at the same time being myself or not being myself. And I spent a lot of time just doing that, back and forth inside of their existences and feeling like a being of 6 and feeling like a being of 1 and feeling like I was them, feeling like I was me. I mean, it was fascinating. And I realized you learn so much faster when you could just pop into somebody else's life and be them. So I did that for a while. And then all of a sudden, it just felt like it was time. And the 6 of us were all merged together, and we started moving forward. We were going back to the rest of us. The rest of us was coming. And we were going back into the rest of us. Going back into the rest of us, there's nothing like it. I mean, there are no human words. The closest I can come is like maybe going through layers of the sun's corona. Starting at maybe Earth, we can feel the sun's heat and see its light and everything, and so that would be like one layer of it. And then although out in space you don't feel anything from the sun, let's assume that we skip the outer space part and we go right to the sun, and there are levels of its corona as you get closer and closer to the sun. It's something like that. Or maybe a light bulb, where you move, as you move closer to the light, you get more luminosity. It was an increasing experience. So as we started through these layers at source, all of a sudden I didn't feel my other 5 being of light friends anymore. It was just me. And I realized I was merging into what we call God. At one level, I saw creation again through God's eyes. When I'd seen it in the documentary, I saw it as an observer watching from the outside. This time, I watched the universe being created from pure thought. And I saw how the universe was pure energy. It was pure Source's energy. And Source did not create individual things. Source created processes, created the energy that then became physical matter and combined and discombined and blew up and did all kinds of things to create things like planets and stars and galaxies and outer space and everything that we can perceive as a human. Source created those properties and also created the things that we call laws, the laws of physics. Well, I guess the laws of physics are the only laws I can think of. But they're not laws, they're internal mechanisms. And I saw that everything has internal mechanism of being pure energy, then creating a thing or a being, and then living a life, and then dissolving that life, and then doing it all over again. And so life was kind of spiraling. And then at the end, it all boomeranged back to source. And I understood that this entire universe is on the backswing. It's all moving back into source. It will all merge back into source and then no longer exist. And then source will create a new universe. Anyway, I'm watching all this. I'm getting closer and closer to the core of source. And as I was moving through the levels, the love was excruciating. I mean, if I had to feel it in a body, I don't think I could have survived it. I mean, it's so intense. It's you can't even imagine it in human form. I can't imagine it, even though I've experienced it. Well, I'm getting answers. Answering me more and more information about the nature of source and how it came to be and why it created the universe and how we came to be and what we're made of and blah, blah, blah. And all those answers came to me as certainties, as knowings. All the information that's in my books and in some of these classes that I give. While all this is going on, I'm still kind of in the back of my mind thinking, oh man, I wish everybody could know this. And all of a sudden, I knew I was going to come back. And it was a moment of, I knew it. I knew it was Nancy's time to die. And I knew I was I knew I was in the process of merging back into source for good. But because I had this feeling like I could have done it better, and that maybe if I had known, and if other people knew what I'm experiencing now, it would change their lives. And because of that, I guess source just let me go. And I started back to the body. Oh my gosh, coming back into the body was just, it's like being in a hurricane, and not the I part, the swirling part. And all this stuff was swirling around me, and I knew I was on my way back to the body. And I wanted to remember as much as I could. So I was like memorizing it, cramming for that exam. I'm stuffing stuff into my head and I'm trying to memorize. And while I'm memorizing all the stuff that I'd learned, my being of light friends were kind of on the periphery going, love is all that matters. Love is all that matters. And they kept like chanting it. And I'm in my mind saying, shut up, I want to remember this stuff,
Para cada ser humano, la experiencia de abandono del traje humano es diferente. Esta depende del nivel de conciencia adquirido en la dimensión terrestre, del nivel de apego a la experiencia humana, de la cantidad de vidas recorridas bajo este sistema o similares, del lugar de origen o procedencia, de la misión u objetivos que generaron su ingreso al traje humano, entre muchas otras razones.
Dudar de lo aprendido, cuestionar de lo enseñado y no aceptar lo establecido ofrece una responsabilidad que otorga poder. El poder del libre camino hacia la evolución.
No olvides suscribirte para recibir noticias sobre nuevos videos en este canal. Gracias por tu atención.